If a government bans drugs, it should also ban crypto. Johan van Overveld, a member of the European Parliament and former Minister of Finance of Belgium, made this statement in March. The crypto market is not only fraught with a lack of proper security and regulation, but also an object of scorn and doubt. If these inadequacies are not addressed, crypto generally might have a hard time attempting to back the US dollar. Or you don't believe this. Johan van Overveld called for a strict ban on crypto as a result of the slew of banking crises that happened in March. In a March 17th tweet, Overveld suggested that lawmakers should consider banning cryptocurrencies as a lesson from the collapses of the Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and Silvergate Bank in the United States, referring to digital assets as speculative poison. Members of the European Parliament also discussed the impact of the failures of these banks on markets and its jurisdiction. The impact of the banking crises in March was definitely scary, and many US lawmakers claimed financial institutions' ties to crypto firms were partially responsible for the collapses, starting with Silvergate's voluntary liquidation on March 8th. Silicon Valley Bank followed on March 10th amid a bank run, and New York regulators took control of Signature on March 12th. SVB Financial Group has since filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. However, in moments like this, when we are losing grip to what crypto truly stands for, the words of Rich Dad Poor Dad author are worth considering. Perhaps crypto, especially Cardano ADA, stand a chance at backing the US dollar. Recently, Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki said that BRICS summit could accelerate de-dollarization. The annual event was conducted a few days ago, and representatives from Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa discussed key economic issues affecting the bloc. Before the summit, it was perceived that BRICS nations were likely to launch a new trading currency backed by gold, according to Kiyosaki's suggestions. Even though a South African official confirmed in a report that a BRICS currency will not be on the agenda. Another top Indian official added that there is no plan for a US dollar alternative at the moment. In preparation for the summit, Kiyosaki tweeted, "Gang warfare, August 22nd, 2023. Approximately 41 nations, possibly even France, gang up in South Africa to de-dollarize the world. Proposal, BRICS nations will launch the BRIC, their money." Kiyosaki tweeted on Wednesday, suggesting that new gold-backed currency would be worth $3,000. Bye-bye, USA. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron expressed interest in going to the summit, but the Kremlin noted that he wouldn't be welcome. It is also worth noting that Kiyosaki had sounded the alarm on the death of the US dollar multiple times in the past, a situation he believes could send inflation through the roof. Previously, he urged his followers to store their wealth in gold, silver, and Bitcoin as the dollar fades from use in global trade and central bank reserves. However, experts noted that the de-dollarization fears are widely misplaced, and that the dollar is not likely to be replaced by a rival currency anytime soon. Another currency backing the US dollar also seems like an understatement. The greenback is still by far the most widely used currency in trade, accounting for one side of 88% of all currency transactions, according to Bank of International Settlements data. It is also the most widely held asset among central banks, with the dollar accounting for 55% of all foreign exchange reserves in the first quarter of 2023, according to data from the International Monetary Fund. Plus, Kiyosaki is widely known for being a frequent doomslayer on Wall Street. He predicted in 2021 that the worst market crash in history is coming, and recently suggested an economic depression could be on the way for the US due to too many signs pointing to a severe stock crash. Nevertheless, if crypto is yet to overcome its meltdowns, crashes, collapse, and misconceptions, it will never get the chance to back the US dollar. Even the US government will be there to ensure that. For example, the events of the FTX meltdown in November 2022 are still fresh in our minds. Crypto encountered many difficulties at that time. The whole nation would be in chaos if it was the general currency. But let's take you back to that sorrowful event. November 2022 is a month that investors, particularly in cryptocurrencies, will never forget, and perhaps the worst may be yet to come. The digital asset industry watched in horror as FTX, the multi-billion-dollar crypto exchange created by one of its biggest and brightest stars, Sam Bankman-Fried, imploded. Unfortunately, the FTX failure shook the foundation of the entire ecosystem. Token prices tumbled across the board as investors rushed to exit risky positions. Contagion followed, and in panic, depositors scrambled to pull their money out of various crypto platforms, compelling lenders to halt withdrawals. This was what happened. On November 2nd, 2022, an article from the crypto trade publication CoinDesk cited a leaked financial document that raised questions about the relationship between FTX and Bankman-Fried's trading house, Alameda. On paper, they were two separate companies that happened to be owned by the same man. However, the CoinDesk article said that Alameda rests on a foundation largely made up of a coin that a sister company invented. A few days later, the head of FTX's biggest rival, Binance, said that the company would liquidate $580 million worth of FTT, FTX's in-house token. This action set off a firestorm of drawdowns that the FTX did not have the cash to facilitate. Panic spread, taking the value of not only FTT, but also more mainstream cryptos including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and Solana. FTX faced a massive liquidity crisis. It needed a bailout, and for a moment it seemed like it might be rescued by none other than Binance, its rival whose drawdowns worsened the crisis. But Binance bailed on the rescue plan less than a day after announcing it, saying FTX's problems were beyond our control or ability to help. On November 11, FTX and Alameda filed for bankruptcy and Bankman-Fried resigned as CEO of the exchange. "I effed up," he wrote in a lengthy Twitter apology. It was a dizzying downward spiral for Sam Bankman-Fried's huge crypto empire. These downfalls are not rare in crypto, which is subject to extreme boom-bust cycles. But FTX and Bankman-Fried are unique in the stature that they achieved before the meltdown. Over the past 3 years, FTX has become widely regarded as a reputable exchange, despite not submitting to US regulation. Sam Bankman-Fried was globally influential, courtesy of his thoughts on cryptocurrency regulation and his financial support for the US electoral candidates. These narratives about crypto are definitely worth being scared about. As usual, the Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson always has something interesting to say about events like these. He expressed concerns that the too big to fail mentality could lead to even larger financial institutions, as was the case after the 2008 financial crisis. He even criticized the US for lagging behind other regions in implementing reasonable cryptocurrency regulations. Furthermore, Hoskinson warned the US risks losing crypto companies to other countries with more favorable regulatory environments. Well, as the global regulatory landscape for cryptocurrency improves, Hoskinson believes the focus will shift to the jurisdictions outside of the US, which could negatively impact the nation's economy and national security. The Cardano founder's comments came at a time when the crypto industry was caught in increased scrutiny from regulators and policymakers worldwide. Hoskinson's warnings about the potential for another financial crisis highlight the need for more innovative and sustainable financial systems. Crypto is very much unstable, and it can't back the US dollar. But what about Cardano ADA? Obviously, for now, there's no guarantee. Also, trusting Robert Kiyosaki's words may not be the best shot at the moment. His love for Bitcoin is undiluted, given his unique predictions. And even though he did not suggest that Bitcoin could be the dollar's rival currency, it is easy to think in that direction. In a tweet on April 21st, Robert declared his love for the world's largest cryptocurrency, citing its independence from government and central bank control as one of its primary strengths. Kiyosaki's tweet talked about the time when Bitcoin first hit $20,000 and then subsequently crashed to zero. He initially believed that the digital currency was finished, but over time, he watched as it climbed back up to $6,000. He's confident that Bitcoin will continue to rise in value, predicting that it will eventually reach $100,000. He believes that the currency's popularity and adoption will continue to grow as more and more people recognize the benefits of using a decentralized currency that is not subject to the whims of the government. This one was an interesting one, so let's keep watching the crypto market and stay sensitive. Who knows, something big might happen and a currency might flip or back the US dollar. Which currency would it be is the question. Of course, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next video.